Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. Spot ETF go live tomorrow. We're going to take a look at it. Swift, Visa, JPM, and stablecoins. You're going to love it. Ripple, BNY, Mellon, and G20 Nation. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.62 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's up 0.2%. Bitcoin, 105,000 plus. Ethereum, 3,500 plus. XRP number 4 spots 244. We're off 0.4 on the 24, and we're up 9.2 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range of price here, ranging between 237 and 247. Let's get into this. This first piece of information, the crypto market just added $75 billion in the last 3 hours. How about that one? That was early this morning. It giveth and it taketh, right? We never know what day it's going to be for each, but there it is. Look, I want to tell you right now, with all the good news coming, we know government's opening back up. We know the market clarity bill is getting close. XRP Las Vegas is on its way too. It's XRP Las Vegas 2026, our 4th conference. I'm telling you, it is flying by like nothing. Ripple premier sponsor, Paul Barron Network, Media Desk on site. You're going to love what we have in store, and there's so much more. Make sure you get your ticket before it's gone. I anticipate this to be a record turnout, and it has been every year. So make sure you get your tickets for XRP Las Vegas at xrplasvegas.com. And look at this right here. XRP ETFs are imminent. Retail demand meets institutional capital, and 350,000 U.S. financial advisors are about to become XRP's new sales force. I think this is absolutely spot on. Shout out to Mr. BXRP. Give him a follow. And if you're not following him on YouTube, give him a follow on YouTube at Mr. XRB589, appropriately named. Yeah, he's got great content. You'll love it. And then here we have iTrustCapital was recently at Swell. Let's take a listen to Jared here and his take.
Hey folks, it's Jared Feldman, iTrustCapital, reporting to you live from Ripple Swell here in New York City. The news of the day is very simple. Ripple announcing a round led by Citadel and Fortress. Ripple is a behemoth, and this conference really demonstrates that. They are not focused at this conference on price. They're very focused on building, and the main way that XRP will be impacted by this, because people are asking, right, how does this impact XRP? And the main way is total value locked and real world asset issuance on the XRP ledger, right? Ripple is going to do its thing. It's going to keep building. It's going to keep making key acquisitions to build its business. But ultimately, it's very focused on getting real world assets proliferating and issued on the XRP ledger. And if they're able to do that in a big way over the coming weeks, months, and years, it'll certainly impact XRP in a plethora of ways.
There you have it right there. Update from Jared from iTrustCapital. Shout out to him and everybody at iTrust. Listen, if you haven't clicked the link underneath the video and opened up your PCA or IRA, what are you waiting for? Free institutional grade custody, 24/7, 365. Trade all the assets on the platform. Take advantage of staking. It's endless, the empowerment you have in your back office, whether it's the PCA or the IRA. Click the link below and get started today. You're going to love the experience, and you won't believe how incredible they are. All the people there. Look, a company is a company, but a company isn't anything without the people, and they have great people there. You're going to find out as soon as you click that link underneath the video and get started today. Right here, Trump's CFTC chair picked Michael Seelig to face Senate hearing on November 19th. The CFTC has its new chair named here. He just has to pass the Senate hearing and be approved. And it doesn't appear that there will be any issues passing him through, as there was with Brian Quintenz, which I think was just a silly email that they wanted to get hung up on. But nonetheless, these are the rules. This is how it goes. Mike Seelig has been a big supporter of crypto and an advocate for Ripple and XRP throughout the 5-year court case we were involved in. So that is good news too. XRP's in for a wild couple of days. You're not mentally prepared for what is coming, says the XRP guy as he lists the current list, and it's actually a little longer than this, of some of the most recent XRP ETFs that are waiting for key dates to go live. So let's see. Key date November 7th for 21 shares. Some of these dates have already passed. Franklin Templeton. You can see the others. I'm not going to read them all, but nonetheless, let's keep looking here because the DTC now shows 11 XRP ETF tickers in active pre-launch. So they are lined up in the gates like horses waiting to run. You know what I mean? So now here, it's official. Ripple Bull Van Winkle says here, it's official. The spot XRP ETF from Canary Capital goes live on November 13th. Institutions are waking up. Get ready. That is tomorrow. Yeah. Boy, we have been waiting for a long time. Imagine this thing going live tomorrow because, look, not only is it great news for Stephen McClurg and Canary Capital and everybody there, we're super excited for him, but it also says if it does go live tomorrow, like the way we understand it, and if that happens, then the rest of that list is about to start lining up to jump out. And I can't wait. I mean, it's so exciting. And what a moment we've been waiting for. We could be closer than ever. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Big Visa launched a pilot letting U.S. businesses fund payouts in fiat while recipients get stable coins in their crypto wallets. This is expansion. This is bringing the legacy financial systems into the new digital on-chain economy. As a reminder that Ripple was partnered with Currency Cloud when Visa acquired Currency Cloud for around $930 million. So we have the indirect connection there. And then a reminder that Visa's partnered with Thunes for global and digital currency transactions, as they just discussed with stablecoins, and Thunes uses XRP for settlement. So just wanted to share that for everybody who's confused. R3 wanted to share a quick clip from Brian Armstrong, the CEO at Coinbase, who's doing some work with JP Morgan. Take a listen.
New types of investments and asset classes, capital formation, credit, like all these things can get reinvented, made more efficient in the crypto world. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to create more economic freedom in the world and update the financial system. New types of investments and asset classes, capital.
There you have it. Update the financial system. Well, it starts right here. JP Morgan rolls out deposit token JPM coin on Base Network. Yeah, this is according to Bloomberg. Here's a look at it. Simon Taylor shares this diagram. JP Morgan clients can now swap JPMD for USDC on Base. That sentence should break the internet. JP Morgan payments move trillions per day. It dwarfs the entire stablecoin industry. This is how 1,000 times more dollars go on chain. It certainly is. There's no question about that. And you can see Coinbase in the mix here to help get it all done, right? So the JPM working here through Base, their platform, then obviously using Coinbase for the swap probably between JPM coin and USDC. That's beautiful. Love seeing that because that is bringing the markets together. And then there's this comment that Brad Garlinghouse gave just a couple years ago. I've never forgotten it. Take a listen.
I'm not sure is the short answer. I think stable coins as a category, I think, have a role to play, particularly in domestic settlement. I haven't yet seen exactly where the U.S. is going to come out here. Other countries around the world clearly are doing more ahead of the U.S. and how they're kind of approaching central bank issued digital assets. What's confusing to me is why do we need 10 different U.S. dollar stable coins or 20?
I think that's a really great point. Now, I know the idea is that all these private issuers soak up all the hyperinflated bonds, right? Or debased currency bonds, right? However you'd like to say it, makes you feel comfortable. But I get what Brad's saying here. I really do. And I feel like you could consolidate those. Remember, just in, $47 trillion asset manager BNY Mellon projects stablecoins and tokenized real-world assets could hit $3.6 trillion by 2030. As a reminder here that BNY Mellon is providing custody for Ripple's Real USD as well. Just thought I'd share that. But the point is about, I don't see the need for 10 or even 20 different stablecoins. And going back to what I showed you about JP Morgan and their coin, and working with Coinbase, it feels like a siloed system, doesn't it? Because ultimately, in case you're wondering why we get so much heat from maxis, this is what the world that Ripple is building with their suite of products to include the XRP ledger. It is digital tokenized dollars from every country's money, all their sovereign paper currency turned digital with XRP in the middle. And that's not something JP Morgan coin can do at this point. So ask yourself, even though JP Morgan's doing trillions a day, we get it. How many trillions do you think will happen on the XRP ledger when all the G20 nations' money is going on the XRP ledger every day? How much? Every G20 nation will hold and offer not only real USD, as well as their own digital currency on the XRP ledger. That's why the XRP ledger has a DEX, a decentralized exchange built into the layer 1, known as the World Exchange. Don't believe it, it's still true. This is how you make a dent in the universe, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't by creating some siloed island where you process the amount of transactions you process a day, like JP Morgan, which is in the tunes of trillions, and congratulations to them. They're a behemoth. They're a gatekeeper. But it doesn't have the rest of the world included in their system, right? And this is about inclusion. This is about interoperability where we're going. And just so you know, I'm not really guessing here. Looking at what could U.S. domestic payments providers do to support the G20 2027 and 2030 targets? Well, they're highlighting at the Faster Payments Council, for which Ripple is on, that RippleNet and Stellar partner with fintechs and startups and innovation in cross-border payments such as RippleNet and Stellar. That's who they're highlighting. They're not highlighting others. They're highlighting these two. And this is the Federal Reserve's Faster Payments Council talking about the G20 and G27 to 2030 targets. So we are speculating. There's no question we're speculating, but this is the goal that they've laid out from the Fed. Now that makes more sense to me. Now taking a look at this right here, this is Chart Nerd. Now, I'm going to have to cut some of this off because I got to put it in the Freedom Zone because YouTube threw me in jail and I have no idea why. So please join the Freedom Zone. It breaks my heart to ask you, but it's inexpensive to do so. And it's the only way we can really be connected without fear of losing that connection. Looking at this Chart Nerd here, says accumulate, expand. That's what he's saying here. And the vertical accumulation is that sideways motion that we've seen so often for XRP over the years, but possibly setting up for the next breakout. Could we go up there? I don't know. But with all the fundamental news, I'm excited to see exactly where it can go, up or down. It's not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's just my digital perspectives. And I have something for us that will continue in the Freedom Zone. So I hope you will join us. So come on in. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Let's get started.